All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. I want to welcome everybody to the December 9th call meeting. Official time 6:06. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved, Chairman.
We have a motion, we have a second? Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Mr. Goins, if you'll start us off tonight, we'll let you do the invocation of pledge.
Thank you for asking me, Chairman. We'll bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for this opportunity to come before you. We're all honored to be in your presence. Lord, we just ask you to be in this room, be with us as we conduct the county business, the city business, and the state business, Lord. And we just ask that you continue to bless our tongue, that we know we don't always get along, Lord, and things that we say and think that shouldn't always come out of our mouths, and it does. And we just repent upon that. Lord, we just ask that you be with this business as we conduct for the county and keep it honorable upon your Son, Jesus Christ. Most importantly, Lord, we just thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, his sacrifice for our salvation. And we just ask that our actions can honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Matt. I want to welcome our special guest. Bo, do you realize you're our special guest tonight? You didn't know that, did you? You didn't know we're going to have a special guest tonight. You're our special guest. So thank you very much for helping us tonight. Mr. Risner, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Let's see. So I went and printed off what we were looking at up there a little bit ago, and it might have been fortunate because I can't get it to work like it was. Give me just a minute and I'll try one more.
I like your artwork.
It's fantastic. Thank you.
Is it a fish?
I need a signature. I think it's a fish.
Yeah, that side might be a fish. She was decorating your
I
area.
see, did a fantastic job.
She was keeping your seat warm for you.
Good job.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Back to where we were. And this should be what you all have before you. And so, at this point, sort of in the process, the next step for the board would be to approve this list, or approve a list of items and amounts, so that Ashley and I can kind of finalize the intergovernmental agreement and a resolution where you name all these things and you call for the election. So one other thing that I failed to mention in the previous meeting, in that paperwork, you have where you specify an amount that you could bond if you want to. Nothing that says you have to. We had bonding capability in the current SPOS, but we haven't used it. And so so that's a number that we would want to have you all include maybe in the motion to that we can insert into that agreement that you have there to use at some point in the future if you want to. In terms of what that number might be, I think I remember from our conversation the other day that they would recommend 75%.
I think they said 70 to 80, yeah.
Of our projected collections. So, so if, which, I mean, that's going to be a pretty high number. I don't know that you'll want to do anything that, use anything that high, but it wouldn't hurt to have it in the agreement, I think. So if you did, let's see.
I mean, it certainly never has to be used, but if, you can have it there if you would ever want to use it. But I think they felt like, it seemed like the 70% number was sort of more of the consensus of having it the availability.
What are we doing, 75%?
Yes.
9.4.
That's 75% of our part, or 75%
The 12,
of the whole?
the 12,550.
What if you do, let me just add, let's see. If we added up all those numbers, excluding the city of Grays portion, so 1,044,123 plus 1,900,000.
Right at 10 million. That's
200.
$9,990,000.
So 75% of our total collections is like 11.3 million. I don't know that you want
We don't need that much, surely.
to, yeah.
That's two, and that's with tier 2 and 2 or 3.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Should-
I mean,
What was the number saying without the tier 2 and 3 that you got?
90, was it 99? So it's
it'd probably be 10.5-ish. Something like that.
So the 12,550 is what I was going minus 111 minus the cities. I'm just doing tier 1 minus the cities 25920. $10,291. About 77, 7.7. $6 million, but plenty of everything.
I don't think so. I think we have 4 million in the current SPOS.
The only thing that I can see that we would even bond would be if we started the water projects and wanted to buy all the material and go ahead and get started on them at one time. That would be the only,
Don't think we bond out.
you know, and that's only $1.5 million.
We had some discussion the other day with John Pennell and some finance folks about bonding, doing bonds to refinance existing debt. And I think they were gonna have to research that and see if you could, do you remember? I think that's what they said was they
Yeah,
were gonna have to check.
they would get back with us. I think that's why they said have the number there, but you never have to use it.
So I don't know what I did with my math. I was off there. So 75% of our projected collections is 8.5. Yeah. So I mean, no higher than 8.5.
Okay. Any questions on that? Comment? Mr. Smith, no question?
No, sir, no comments, no questions about that. I just have a question when it comes to the industrial park sewer.
Sure.
So we'll talk about it now or wait.
Yep, absolutely. I've got time.
Okay, because I was just going through the notes where it looks like we haven't even spent any of this 700,000 that was allocated. So can you give me an update, because I missed that portion?
We, so one of the things, just as I've been talking to different folks about this, one of the municipal finance people said, you know, you might want to consider not paying off that loan because we have several different things. One is that loan hasn't gone into repayment yet because we haven't finished the project. And the way GFA debt works is you don't start repaying until, I think it's 4 months or something like that, after the project is complete. So, you know, we're still working on getting that line, and I think all the permitting stuff is going to Macon Water Authority today, actually, on that. So, but we're still a ways away from, not a long way, hopefully, but some ways away from construction on that. And in your current SPOS, you've got 700,000 to go towards that debt, and the annual payment there is about 65,000. So you've got 10+ years worth of payments, you know, in your current SPOS. And then another thing he said there is you may be able to bundle that with another debt issuance and maybe get some additional savings there. So so there were several factors there that you know, seems like it might make sense not to pay that off and to use that 700,000 for something else.
Is it still like a $1.4 million project? Do we still agree with that? Like the total project?
The big water and sewer project, yeah, the 1.4 will help with the debt service on that.
It's just that, it's quick.
I was just saying, I think we'll be into the next loss period before we finish paying from the last one, so
Yeah.
this one's kind of
Okay. It just, I know the previous board at Alice said, you know, in the future we'll do 700,000, go and have it paid off. But I mean, like I said, the project's not done, so that was just the question I had about that.
Basically, there's no savings by paying it off.
Yeah,
Basically.
the rate's very low on it as it is now, and it's a 20-year GFA. I've got the rate in here somewhere, but it's very low, and you know, if it's 4 months past construction when you start paying, you're probably looking at it may not. Maybe a year before it starts construction, but you know, railroad permits and bidding and all that kind of stuff, and then however many months to complete it, and then 4 months, and these. So I mean, it could be a couple of years, you know, potentially before we start paying on that. So,
Okay.
and we got 10 years worth of
10 years
payments in
worth
the
of
bank.
Payment.
so that
So
gets you 12 years.
We're 12 years, we're 2 6-year splosh away from needing
To use those funds.
to use additional funds than what we got. Well,
And then the other question I have is about the courthouse. I know one time we were talking about $1 million, $1.5 million. So $1 million, can we get maybe like a $5 million loan at like a phase 1, or did you run any numbers on that?
I think what and I can do it real quick. From what I remember, I think you could finance $2.5 million. Let me do that real quick if I can. Yeah, I've still got it right there. So 2.5 million, the annual payment is 160,367. And that's 20 years at 2.5% interest. So then 160,367 times 6 is 962,202. So you could service the debt on $2.5 million for 6 years with $1 million.
Then I guess my last question would be is just the sheriff's office when it comes to vehicles, the SCAD and dispatch. I know you said one time you want like $1.5 million for cars and then $500,000 for the dispatch. So we just took away 100,000 for, because I believe what it says like maybe 1.2 in the last class or.
I think that's right. I think the last, the car amount in the current SPOS was 1.2 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just upped it a little bit.
And I think I did the math a little while ago, and it was 41,670 or something per car, times 36 gets you the $1.5 million.
That's all I got, Chairman.
All right. Anyone else? Mr. Martin? Comments, thoughts?
I mean, you guys have pretty much made up your mind about 5-2 for EMA and constitutional and 3-4 for debt retiring. And again, when I look at capital campaigning, we have a huge opportunity to make a difference and do the infrastructure projects that we've been needing to do since Jonathan and I first came on the board, that were here before we got on. Water and sewer, huge issues. We know every fire hydrant doesn't have water. We know there are neighborhoods that don't have water. We know there are neighborhoods that have gone dry, and 1.44 being allocated towards it when we know we're way out. I think we're going in the wrong direction. I just left, I think Glenn County, and on the side of their river, they put in a nice little slip. We have a river opportunity here that I shared some months ago. We know our citizens are going down there. We know there's a hazard and a danger on the side of the road. We know there's also trash accumulation. But we have a huge opportunity to take advantage of that and give Jones County another destination that can help here with retail inside the city and the commercial, along with hotel motel. But none of that's here. So this is you all's strategy for the county. It is what it is. I'm not in agreement with it. But this is where y'all going, so it is what it is.
How much would you invest towards infrastructure then?
You and I know that there's about, well, not just you and I, but Sam's pretty clear, and I think Chris at this point as well. It was presented about $16 million.
Okay.
And the reality is that we kicked a lot of cans down the road. When we finally did that filter, I mean, we're talking over $500,000. Some of the water projects that we looked at before have almost doubled. I think asphalt doubled in the last year. And I'm curiously concerned that in 2 to 5 years, some of these projects will be so far out of the way because of what we're doing. If we saved money, that would be different, but we spend money. We're not saving. So how much would we do? Definitely would do Graham Road, definitely would do 49, definitely would do the water plant upgrades. Definitely we have to do a sewer. River North, we're spending, between River North and, Hampton Lakes, we're spending almost $250,000 a year. That's $5 million in terms of a plant that we could put in. That then generates $250,000 because we're paying at the making into perpetuity, right? And since you and I have been on the board, say 7 years, 7 times, $250,000 is $1.75 million we paid the city of Macon on a wastewater treatment plant that we could own. So none of this saves us the money that you guys are thinking, because at the end of the day, We're paying off debt to create new debt, and that's what's happening, whether you call the courthouse a debt, the jail a debt, those are real debts. And the jail really has not been thought out because what are the expansion costs? What are the utility costs? What are the personnel costs for staffing and managing it? And we haven't factored that in. We know there's some significant needs, but this is not how we fund it, because at the end of the day, when we come back, it's back on rooftops. You know, and I thank God for the tax assessors department. Yeah, they found $1 million. We spent it every single year. I hope they find another $1 million. Because how do we address the wastewater issues that we have, and specifically the water plants? This 1.44 does not address the water plant needs that has already been brought up. And we asked him to go do this again. It's probably the 5th time we asked him to do this. If the city of Gray goes on a drought this year, we have a main water break, we're gonna see what happens. So, would I spend the $16 million? If we could bond it, absolutely. With the cash that we have available for this, absolutely. I think we could push a $16 million bond to solve water and sewer for the city and the county, and be prepared for the expansion that we probably need at the industrial park and even in the current areas that we're already serving. Do I want to do all of that? No. I'd love to put some infrastructure in up Gray Highway, because we know we had a client that was interested and we needed sewer. We know that something's going on the corner down here, and they're going to need some more water capacity that we may not be able to provide, because I think we're almost maxed out. And I'd love to do some recreation stuff to take advantage of the river and create some destination dollars where people can spend some money here. So, this doesn't do it, but I understand the direction y'all are going in. We're policing EMA city, and that's okay. I feel safe. Keys are in my car.
Anyone else? Any more comments, questions?
The 1.4 or 1.5 million for infrastructure and water, that gets us Graham, 49, both the major projects and all of our water needs. As far as rehabbing the wells, the new well, isn't it gonna increase our capacity by 40%? So what, this is just the debt service for that loan amount, not just, the way I take it, not just 1.4%, I mean, 1.4 million towards these projects. So that is the debt service for a $15 million project, the 1.4. So we're basically servicing, because we can't get a $15 million project out of $12 million worth of revenue. But that is a $15 million project that we're doing.
And that's divided between cost, there was 3 divisions on where the money
Right,
comes
so,
from.
right, so it's new customers, general fund, and 1.4 million of the SPOS gets us that $15 million project that we're talking about.
Okay.
So that's where, that was a little confusing, because I thought we were on the same page as
I
needing,
was too, I was going,
because that gets the 49 corridor, the Graham Road corridor, all the things that we talked about, those 600, 500 some odd customers for each section, was it, or 400? I can't remember the number, maybe 400 or 600 customers for Graham, and about the same amount for 49, and gives us the new test well, rehabs 3 wells, and the sewer.
So just for clarity, because I know I saw all of these components, I did not see this attached to a debt per se, and that was the concern. So we are inking in a $15 million loan?
So, right, so the 1.44 million, if you combine that with, money from new customers, money from,
Right, those are the projected.
right.
Right, I got you.
So, so it's really 4 different things. So you have the SPOS money, you have, new customer revenue, you have, the last couple of years, we've had about 250,000 in surplus.
Yep, yep.
In water, and then, money from a rate increase. You would
Right.
have to have a rate increase that you could, and you could look to phase that in over time. But
Right.
if you sort of cobble together the money from those 4 different sources, you could do 1.44 million in SPOS.
Right, and the reason why I voiced it this way, because just as we just talked about the $1 million for the courthouse and how long that would actually service that, the numbers didn't add up for me. If it took $1 million to go out 6 years on a $2.5 million loan, I didn't see 1.44 servicing
Right.
15 million. So I didn't see that.
Yeah, here's Tim's proposal. It was a third from SPOS, third from existing revenue, third from rate increase. And the rate increase would basically be $5 per month per customer, but that's after, over a 3-year period. So
And that was approved.
645 new customers, and that's, he give the mailboxes,
Was that approved with the budget? Because I missed the last Friday meeting. So was that approved with the budget? Because I didn't read that.
No. I
Oh,
mean,
see.
Y'all would still have to come back and approve the composition of, what goes exactly into the 15 million that,
I got you. Because I didn't have that as an aggregate. That's why
Right.
I read it that way. So-
but that was where I said the 1.44 funds what Tim brought us.
Okay.
And that was what we had all discussed
agree.
that we wanted, was to make sure that,
We can fund that 15 million.
I got you.
and basically that gives us 600 new customers over 6 years, gives us a $26,800 per year cushion on the projected debt service for inflation increase.
Did that include the wastewater treatment? Because I know I talked about it, but I didn't see that. Did not include wastewater treatment.
no, I mean, so I think it would be up to the board if, what pieces you wanted to plug in there to
Gotcha.
total up to 15 million.
Okay.
The other part of that wastewater treatment is we have a 5-year get-out clause. So, once we figure out where it's going, go through all the red tape of EPA red tape and all that, then we gotta tell
Go
our
several
authority.
years, just get through the red tape.
Yeah.
And it's 5 years to tell them we know we're gonna build one and we don't need your service anymore.
And 2 years to build the plant.
So it could
Yeah.
be 7, 8 years before we could even.
So I think with this SPOS, we felt comfortable that we had enough to do all of our water projects and get them accomplished. And then
Okay.
the sewer, even if it's 6 years before we actually get there, we can start on it now. Maybe our 5-year get-out clause is up by the time we start the next one. But that was where I thought we felt comfortable we were heading in the right direction on doing a big project and taking a small bite out of it to get it done.
Gotcha. Well, again, had I seen that in aggregate as a complete voted on project, then I would probably retract that. But I haven't seen it yet. All of it's subjective and subject to turn on a dime.
Sorry
So-
you hadn't seen it. I was kind of scratching my head. I thought what we were talking about.
Right, but I mean, as a voted on project, like, it's not been voted on, and again, until it's solid, it's all speculative to me.
We're trying to cover all the ground,
It's like an 8-lane track, speculative.
almost all the ground.
Yeah, yeah.
So about a bike trail.
You got Jake's wood, dude.
We can go from bike trail to bike track, what do you think?
Good try.
Don't hurt the hand for trying. You got to smile about it, Commissioner Martin. You can't laugh about life, you need to stop.
Look, I smile every day.
All right, I'm glad you're laughing, thank you.
And one more thing, Chairman.
Sure.
When it comes to district projects, do we need to state economic development in there, or can we just kind of imply that you can use for an economic development opportunity if it presents itself?
I think, I rate it as district projects / blight could be just that, projects, and it kind of leaves us the leeway to, whether it be, like we spoke earlier in the work session, let's say, Amnesty Day on tires. That could go toward paying, if we had an Amnesty Day on tires in the county where everybody, if you had tires brought, that could be covered under projects.
Okay.
Blight, we talked with the city about including city projects within the blight, because as a community, anybody knows, if you go to our neighbors, blight follows blight. So as a county-wide project, working with the city and the county, the city's got blight, and we need to address that too. And
But like, for example, this company needs a water line. Is it just kind of implied from the board we can use these funds for it, or can we go ahead and say economic development because that's an economic development opportunity?
The water line would actually go through the water department.
Well, I'm just saying, like, for an example, ABC company wants to come, and we've already got this 1.44 tied up, you know, in the $15 million project. And I'm told I mean, it's a $100,000 water line we need to put on the corner that Daylon's, mentioned earlier. Can we state economic development here just so we can pull these funds if necessary? You can give me input too, Jason. Just
Can we use projects as a, well,
I'm not taking out projects. I'll just include economic development too. That's it.
I think you could probably add that to it. I don't,
Right.
you know, and you could do anything as long as it's a capital project there, that you could connect to,
Because what I'm saying to Chairman is, I mean, if it gets to the point where we use all the money for blight, then we just use it for blight. But like I said, I just hate to have an economic development opportunity present itself, and oh boy, we don't have any money for it. Well, then again, we do have this right here has economic development, so we can pull some resources from there
Yeah.
if necessary.
yeah.
So that's the only thing I asked that we add economic development to.
Yeah. Put economic development / project / blight.
That's it.
All right, that's a good, great idea. That way it covers all the bases, because you
So
never know.
something may come up.
You know, I had that gentleman talk to me about Gray Highway, and I ain't got that warm fuzzy feeling yet that, you know, it's, if I feel like, you know, something's gonna happen, then, you know, obviously we need to look at it.
Right. You got some money you can pull from.
Questions I've asked hadn't been answered yet, so we're still sitting on
Yeah.
you gotta know how to play the game.
I understand.
What did we do with the 700,000 that was in the sewer industrial park payoff?
One of the biggest places it went was, and I don't want to say to the city, but the numbers we were originally looking at, I don't know how on mine, I had 1.7, and in actuality, what they're getting now is 2.1, so that was, and when we decide the 18% puts them at 2.2, so that's 500 of it. And then the other one was the increase, was it the increase in the water? Was it 1.5, we're on water? Or 1.44? Yeah, we had it at 1.3, I think, and it went to 1.44, because that was Tim's exact numbers, 1.44. And then the other went 100,000, we had district projects at 400, and we went to 500, just basically because there's 5 commissioners instead of 4. Or 4 and a chairman. I guess we'll consider him a commissioner, since he can vote and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Plus, like I said, it gives us, you know, a district comes up short, we grab some of the chairman. Rather than grab a munchies, well, chairman's got it, we'll grab some of his. Not that it's the chairman's 100,000 that you want to talk about. There's 100,000 as a whole available. Anything else? Well, we need a motion at this time to, you want a recommended motion, Mr. Resner, or you want me to? I'd like to load you up, don't
So maybe I should just, all right, so here's what I'm gonna do, and then I'll start.
Here's what I'm
I?
gonna
All right.
All right,
So,
get good.
so I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna read off each one of these things and the amounts.
Okay.
And then, let me think how I wanna word this.
Don't you like it when I put you on the spot?
No, it's fine, it's fine. So, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that the board adopt, the board approve the following projects and amounts for the 2021 through 2027 SPOSS, and direct myself and the county attorney to draft a resolution and intergovernmental agreement with these projects and amounts to be considered later this week. And those projects would be City of Gray, $2,259,020. City of Gray Tier 2, $116,900. $180. City of Gray, Tier 3, $122,462. Infrastructure, water and sewer, $1,440,000. Sheriff's Office, vehicles, CAD, dispatch, $1,900,000. Industrial park property, debt payoff, $1,200,000. Courthouse, $1 million. Fire, EMA vehicles, $1,400,000. Recreation debt service, $1,300,000. Sheriff's Office jail expansion debt service, $900,000. Public Works, $500,000. District projects, Blight Economic Development, $500,000. Matty Wells Park and Playground, $150,000. Public Works, Roads and Equipment, Tier 2, $529,265. Facility upgrades, Tier 3, $557,884.
Back on those numbers, remember right?
It's all right.
At this time, I entertain a motion.
Let you do it, Sam, you put it together.
Motion to approve, the county administrator's recommendation of all the above.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Mr. Robinson.
Second. Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? None, 4-1. Thank you. Citizen comments tonight?
Well, we need to deal with the bond, what y'all are gonna approve as far as bonding.
So,
You can do it as a separate motion.
Is it that we have to do a bond or just that we have the option
You
to?
just have the option.
Okay, right, just the option, okay.
So that's 75%.
that's 75%.
Just to get it started, trying to make a motion for $6 million option on bonding.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-1. Anything else we left, missed tonight? Citizens comment? Department head? Press? How about commissioners? Oh, you got a department head comment, go ahead, I was too quick.
And I should have thought about this earlier. While we're all here, it might make sense to go ahead and try to pick a date and a time for you to come back, and Ashley and I will have the resolution and the intergovernmental agreement for you to formally approve at that time.
So when will we need to do that?
Just sometime later this week.
All right.
Y'all want to look at calendars while we're,
All right, so I'm just gonna throw out that, if it rains tomorrow, they're gonna call the parade off, and they'll host it on Thursday.
So it looks like Wednesday or Friday, right? Just to be safe.
Yeah, Wednesday or Friday, either one. We have time Wednesday, you want, need extra time till Friday?
Ashley, what do you think?
You need extra time till Friday?
Wednesday or Friday?
Tomorrow or Friday.
Which we gotta have.
Wait, what's
Wait,
today?
tomorrow's Tuesday.
Today's not Tuesday.
I mean, we could throw in the resolution,
By Wednesday,
But do we need to get, we may need to approve the intergovernmental contract too?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll do, I guess we need to find out when the city's gonna
Yeah.
approve it.
Yeah, the
What
only,
time would the parade be on Thursday? 7.
It's always at 7.
I mean, it should be a,
What if y'all met at 6 for a 15-minute meeting? No?
You wouldn't
On
have to make
Thursday?
traffic, you wouldn't make traffic to get back over.
oh, y'all, yeah, some of y'all are in the parade.
Yeah, 6 a.m. We can get it done by Wednesday if we need to have it done Wednesday.
We'll have to wait for Friday.
Or do it Friday.
Friday gives you enough time.
Yeah.
No, say not rushing.
The only
Because I'd like a chance to send the intergovernmental agreement to the city attorney, just to make sure that we're on board.
And that gives them till Friday to pick a day to do it. Hopefully they can do it on Wednesday, and that way they don't miss the parade.
Wednesday at 6 o'clock?
If y'all feel,
Friday.
if y'all feel confident that the city is gonna be good with this and that there's no chance that they would come back and, you know, have heartburn over it and where you need to do something different here, as long as you're confident that this board and their board will both agree to this on Friday, I think it's fine to wait until Friday and do it then.
And I guess if push came to shove, if we just had to make a decision and this is the route we're going, then we still have that option, is that right? Or no?
Yeah, you would,
Unless
yeah,
they,
you could do it, you can do it without an intergovernmental agreement. Then you're looking at, going back to either 5 years, so we'd have to tweak the numbers some, or if you did the countywide projects thing, you could do, you'd have to come back and tweak the numbers some. So I mean, worst case, we you know, have to come in here on Saturday or something and do a meeting and,
Tweak the numbers.
yeah, tweak it again.
They're
And,
gonna approve it.
and they,
They thought they were gonna get less than
okay.
because I think their alternative is 10%.
So they better take it.
that. It is happening.
And we would take the 8.5% that they were gonna get and put that towards the courthouse, and then we'd be at our percentage
That's
number.
a
Yeah, we
rebate.
worked it out.
Right.
What time Friday?
Yeah, 3 times, we good.
Jason, what time Friday?
Sorry. What time can y'all be here Friday?
6? That'd be the best.
Friday at 6?
I can be early on Friday.
Had a date, but it's all right.
How about at 5,
No,
5:30, meet in the middle, like that.
no, I just visited with y'all about the date. I just had to tell her she has to come with me.
She'll love it.
You know, 6 Friday? I give y'all enough time without rushing to get everything ready?
6 on Friday?
Everybody good with that?
Ashley,
Yep.
6 on Friday?
Sounds good.
Need,
I'll be here
you need some
Saturday.
help over there?
I promise I won't bring the whole client.
Anytime, they're welcome.
Jason, is this a called meeting?
Mm-hmm.
That is December 13th, Friday the 13th, at 6 o'clock.
Anything else?
You'll be on Friday the 13th.
That's
Second
right.
Friday the 13th.
Okay. 6 p.m. call meeting.
Mr. Ritter, anything else?
No, sir, I think that's it. We don't need anything
No
else.
comments? Mr. Pitts?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman. If no comments, I make that motion to adjourn.
I was wondering.
Second.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Everybody.